Oh, I know that we're almost done, so. Oh, okay. So let's start. So, welcome back, everyone. I hope we're almost at the end of the term here, and I hope that everyone had a safe and fun weekend. Did anybody do anything fun?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually went out with my uncle to New Jersey with me, him, and his wife. We actually went and bought scooters, like mopeds.
Oh, that's fun.
So we bought them. In the process of buying them, we had to go rent a U-Haul so we could bring it back to Philly. Then we had to go to the auto tags place. Guess how much it cost to register and insure all three mopeds?
Probably pretty much.
$1,400.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Not including that each moped was $2,500.
Oh wow. That's crazy. Well, I hope that you enjoy them.
Yeah, we was riding basically all weekend. It's like once we got back, we registered it, we insured it. Mind you, the reason it costed that much because they were 2021 and they didn't have no miles. They were brand
Oh
new. On
yeah.
the odometer, it said zero miles. So actually, like when we rode it around here, we put miles on it. We put like what 60 miles on it.
Oh wow. Yeah. Oh yeah. I bet that they're a lot of fun.
They're a lot of fun and they're very fast. It's like you gotta be careful on it, no lie.
Yeah.
We all
Oh,
got 150s. So it's like it maxed out about like at 90 miles an hour.
oh wow. That's a little too fast. Yeah. They sound like fun, but I think I'd be, especially like in the city, I'd be a little bit afraid to ride them there.
Yeah, we were riding on like open like main streets like Arandago, like
Okay.
Roosevelt Boulevard, different things like that, like Columbus Boulevard.
Yeah. Like more like open streets.
Yes, because we're able like those scooters, we're able to go to Atlantic City, New York, Wildwood, like we can take trips on them scooters.
Oh wow. That sounds like fun. I'd like that.
And then we get about 100 miles from a full tank. So like I say once a week, $4 to fill up the tank.
Hmm. That's not too bad. That's not bad at all.
I mean, compared to my car, I put like
Yeah.
$40 every day, every other day.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually don't live in Philly right now, but coming back probably for the fall, I'll probably have to move back to Philly because between teaching and I'm a student at Temple, so I'll probably be back in Philly then. But right now, my car's only costing me about $23 to fill, so I'm happy with that. But I have a
I
really
mean,
small
to fill
car.
my tank is about like 48 bucks, 48.50, 49 around there to fill my tank.
Oh wow, yeah, yeah, that's a lot.
It's like I got an Acura TL, so it's like it's a V6 3.2 liter VTEC engine. So it's like it's a pretty fast car.
Yeah, yeah, my car's not too fast. It's pretty small, but I'm okay with that. But I'm glad that you had a good weekend. So I know
How was your weekend?
it was pretty good. I didn't do too much. I stayed at home. I have a puppy, so he's a lot of work, but it wasn't.
How old is he?
He's about 4 months old.
Oh,
Yeah, he's special, but I'll have to show him to you guys sometime. He's sleeping now, but I'll have to bring him on sometime. But I'm glad that everybody had a good weekend. We're almost done here. I know that your attention spans are probably dwindling, which I don't blame you because that's how I get to at the end of the semester. But I'll try to, do some simple stuff for the next couple classes and we'll get through this and enjoy the summer. So today we're going to review the prepositions a little bit. We'll review the sentence subjects, which that's what the homework was on. So then we'll go over the homework. We'll review the conjugations and brief uses of Sarah and a star, the adjectives that we went over, and then we'll do some practice using the adjectives, subjects, and the conjugations in sentences. And then there's a small assignment that we can work on. So just a review of the prepositions. We've been going over these for a couple days now. We have in, which is in or on. A key is here. Allí is there. Al lado de is next to or on the side of. Lejos de is far from. Cerca de is close to or around. A la derecha de is to the right of. A la izquierda de is to the left of. Con means with. And encima del is on top of. Okay. Anybody have any questions on those? Okay. So just
No.
okay, great, thank you. So just a little bit more on our prepositions. These we also went over these last week. This is nothing new. So we have a is at or to. Debajo de is under. Contra is against. Desde is from or since. Hacia is until or towards. Para is for or in order to do something. Según is according to. Sobre is about. Ante or antes is before or in the presence of. De is of or from, and you'll find that they use de a lot. Detrás de is behind. Entre is between. Hasta is until. Por is for or by. Sin is without. And detrás de is after or behind. And there is a
You know,
what was that?
you know what I was always taught?
What?
Entre is like enter.
Yeah, the word for
So it's like has multiple meanings.
it does. Actually, a lot of these words have multiple meanings. Like the word like to enter is entrar. So that doesn't surprise me that you've heard like entre. Like, and there are some people that when they tell you to like come in, they'll say like entre.
Entra, like
Entra,
yeah.
yeah. I've heard them both. Yeah, and definitely a couple of these words like mean like multiple things. Like prepositions are kind of confusing in Spanish. They're a little bit harder than they are in English. But I just like, especially since this is just Spanish one, like I just went over like the basics of them and things like that because I mean there is a lot like, and there's also like por and para, like they both mean for, but like
Yeah.
there's like differences in like how you use them and what they mean, but
Yeah, because you can use eso es para el carro. That's for a car.
yeah, like, and that's, you know what I mean, like there's different
Wait,
ways.
so question. When you add words to it, it makes the word a different meaning. Will you be like, por favor?
Yeah, well, por favor, like of course that means please, right? But
Yes.
if you like would literally translate it, it means like por favor, and por is for, and like favor is like a favor. So like you're saying like,
For a
oh
favor.
yeah. Like, and that's like,
Oh yeah, por favor is yeah.
yeah, so it's kind of like a literal translation, you know what I mean? So yeah, like there definitely are some words like that in Spanish. So, and I mean that's just kind of stuff that happens, you know, and there's, I mean, like there's a lot more to learn than, you know, obviously what we can go over in a term, but that's okay. So does anybody have any questions on these? Okay. Yeah, I know that there's like a lot to this stuff. And then we have like, so we're going to go over the sentence subjects. And this is pretty much what you had to do for homework. You had to pick like which one you were using for each scenario. So yo is I, tú is you, él is he, ella is she, usted is you formal, like when you're talking to someone like your friend's grandparents, like your boss at work, a judge, things like that. Nosotros and nosotras is we. Ellos or ellas is they. And ustedes is you guys, like when you're talking to more than one person, like you guys like do this or that or something like that. And then with the nosotros and ellos, we went over that. That's like a group of men, and nosotras and ellas is for like a group of women. So we don't do that in English. That's a little bit different. So we'll go over the homework now because this is pretty much what the homework was on. Let me see. Okay. So for this activity, you didn't have to do activity 2, it was just activity 1. So it says, given the following situations, decide which personal pronoun you will use to refer to that person. And these right here, these are the personal pronouns, so you're going to use these. So if you're talking directly to a friend, which personal pronoun are you going to use here? Anybody want to take a guess? Like you're saying like you are something, or you're just talking directly to them. It would be to, right? Because you're not using the formal form of that because they're just a friend. And you're talking to them, so you're referring to them as you. Okay. For number 2, if you're talking about a male friend, use, and you're not talking to him, you're talking about him. So a male friend, which one would that be? Does anybody want to take a guess? It would be él, right? He. You're talking about him, a male friend, he. So it would be él. For number 3, if you were talking directly to a judge, use. So you're not talking about the judge, you're talking to the judge. So does anybody want to take a guess on which one we'd use for a judge? We would use usted, right? Because it's you formal. And when you're talking to a judge, that's a more like formal setting. So that's kind of like when between like usted and tu, that's more of a like a preference thing. Like you kind of just use your best judgment and decide which one is the correct one in like the situation. There are some places in Latin America that will use that will always use usted, and there's also places that they'll always use tu. Like an example of that is when I studied in Costa Rica, I stayed at a host family's house and they just referred to me as usted all the time. Like they wouldn't have had to, but that's just how their culture is. So that's just what they do. So, but I mean, in like a regular setting, like in a classroom and stuff, just use your best judgment. And then for number 3, we said it was usted. So if you are talking about yourself, use. So you're talking about yourself. You're talking about I, me. So does anybody want to guess which one we're using here? It would be
I'm sorry, I had to run off real quick. Can you say it again?
Oh no, that's okay. For number 4, we have if you're talking about yourself, use, and then which pronoun will we use if we're talking about ourselves?
Yo.
Yes, yep, I. And then if you're talking about 2 people, male and female, use, and you're not talking to them, you're talking about them.
All right, we'll talk about like you say a group of you guys or female, like only guys, be like ustedes, right?
Yep, if you're talking about actually, yeah, it would be if you're talking about 2 people and they're male and female, so you're talking about them, right?
Yeah, you would say ellas and ellos. You say
Yep.
they.
Yep, and it said that the group is male and female, so you would use ellos, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And it says if you are talking about yourself and your mom, which pronoun would you use?
You say nosotros.
Yep, yep, we. And like for you, it would be nosotros, but like if it was a female talking about her and her mom, it would be nosotras. So definitely nosotros is the right one for you. And I know that it's like we have one in Spain here in Latin America. I didn't even worry about vosotros because nobody even uses it. But if you're in Spain and talking directly to a group of friends, which one are you going to use?
If you're in Spain, you talking to a group of your friends, you'd be like ustedes, right?
Yep. There's actually a different word for it in Spain, vosotros, but nobody uses it. Like I really don't even know that much about vosotros because like just nobody even uses it. So I would pick ustedes for that one. So that was good. And if you were talking directly to a child, which one would you use?
If I was talking to a kid,
Yeah.
It'd be like how you say that word? Dead?
Usted.
Yeah.
You could say that, but I would more go with two. Like,
Two?
yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, like that's more of like that's like a personal preference thing. Like, I mean, if you talk to a child and you say usted, like nobody's gonna be offended, but but two is more like the you like informal. And then if you're talking about two people, both females, which one would you use? You're talking about them, not to them.
Be like, ellas.
Yep. Yep. They, and ellas is the feminine. It's feminine, and because they both of them are female. Yep. So it would be ellas. And if you were talking about yourself and your brother, which one would you use?
Nosotros.
Yep, because it's me and my brother, so we. Yep. And if you're talking about your parents, which ones would you use?
You say ellos.
Ellos. Yep. Yep, your parents. And if you are in Latin America and talking directly to a group of people, which one would you use? You're talking.
If
What was that?
say it again, you said if I was talking to a group of people.
If you are in Latin America and talking directly to a group of people, which one would you use? You're talking to them.
I'll use yo, right?
It would be ustedes, right? Because like you guys, you're talking.
Oh,
Yeah.
So we're talking to them. I thought. Oh, okay.
Does that make
I
sense?
thought. Yeah, I thought it was like say we were talking to them about like something we did or something.
Oh, that's okay. But that's
Yeah,
your.
I thought totally different, but I know. Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
Okay, all right, great. So that and then you didn't have to do activity 2, so that was just the homework. So just something kind of simple to get you working with the sentence subjects, because I know like a lot of people have problems with them. So one trick that I always learned with sentence subjects, like if they give you a name or something like that, you could always say like, one of like my professors used like the trick like, who is going to the store? Like if you're given the name like two different female names, who is going to the store? They're going to the store. So like like you can kind of use that to like figure out the subjects. So there's that. So that was the homework. Pretty simple. So we can move on to the conjugations of ser and estar. So we'll start with estar. And remember, estar is used to describe temporary conditions, and there are a few exceptions to that, but we'll go through that later. And these temporary conditions include like your emotions and your temporary physical states, which is like if you're saying like you're sick or like you don't feel good or something like that, like they're temporary physical states. And then estar is an irregular verb, so you just kind of have to remember the conjugations for that. So we have yo estoy is I am, because you see we have yo, I, and estoy means am. Tu estás is you are. Remember, tu is you. We have él, ella, usted está, and all of these subjects have the same form. So it's él está, he is, ella está, she is, and usted está, you formal are. Okay. And then we have nosotros or nosotras estamos. So we are, depending on who nosotros is. And then we have ellos, ellas, or ustedes están. They are, or you guys are. Okay. Does anybody have a question? Have any questions on this? Are we okay with this? Okay. So moving on to ser. So remember that ser and estar both mean to be, but and this is something that they do in Spanish, but we don't do it in English. That estar is used for the more temporary conditions, and ser is used for the more permanent conditions, like things that aren't likely to change. So I have, remember, ser also means to be, but is used in more permanent situations. And like a star, there are some exceptions. And these situations include physical characteristics and personality traits. So an example of that would be if you want to say like I'm short, you would say yo soy baja, which means, you know, you're short now, so you're probably not going to be tall in the future. So that would be a physical characteristic. And a personality trait, if you wanted to say I am intelligent, you would say yo soy inteligente. So that's a personality trait. If you're intelligent now, you're probably not going to be not intelligent in the future. So physical characteristics like the color of your hair, the color of your eyes, how tall you are, things like that, and what you're like personality wise are considered to be um, they're considered to be permanent situations. So you would use ser for them. So we have yo soy is also I am. Tú eres is you are. Él, ella, usted es. So he is, she is, and you formal are. And you see that these all have the same conjugation. And then we have nosotros or nosotras somos. And ellos, ellas, and ustedes son. They are, and you guys are. So don't worry if you don't know all of these right away. They do take some practice to learn, but I'm just giving them to you, so translating and stuff is a little bit easier. So this is just a review of the adjectives that we went over last class. I'm just going to go through them again. So optimista is optimistic. Pesimista is pessimistic. Responsable is responsible. Extrovertido or extrovertida is outgoing. Reservado or reservada is shy. Activo or activa is active. Creativo or creativa is creative. Interesante is interesting. Alto or alta is tall. Bajo or baja is short. Pequeño or pequeña is small. Rico or rica is rich. Grande is big. Pobre is poor. Inteligente is smart. Perezoso or perezosa is lazy. Aburrido or aburrida is bored. Trabajador or trabajadora is hardworking. So
Wait,
yeah,
so for 17, right? I was taught about a different word. I was taught it was like aborrecido,
yeah,
or that's how you pronounce it.
yeah. This one is pronounced aburrido or aburrida. But the word that you learned is actually that's a form of it, like it's correct. Like I said, some of these words are like different depending on
They're Spaniard words, right? They're like basically
some
more proper Spanish, right?
some of them are. Yeah. I did include like I do have a whole other
Like rico, rica, bajo, pequeño, all that is the same. Like, like I ain't gonna lie, all of them is the same. Like some of the words like stick out, they be like different. I was taught different.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that is like completely fine. Because like if you learn something different, that is fine. Like I said, I mean, some of these words like have like depending on where you're at or what you learn, they have like 10 different things that could mean it. So what you said, like what did you learn for board?
Aborrecido.
Aborrecio. Yeah, that's correct. Like it's almost the same thing. You see what I mean? But it's just different depending on the type of Spanish that you were taught. So that's actually completely fine. I learned mostly like Mexican Spanish and like for like the word for lazy, like before I learned like the word perezoso, I'd never heard of that word before. But that like it's becoming more popular now. Like if you say like perezoso, people will know what you're talking about. but a lot of these words do have different meanings depending on what type of Spanish that you use. So if you do, like, I mean, if for some reason you have to use any of these words in a homework assignment or anything like that, feel free to use the words that you know, because that's completely fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that, because the word that you use, aborrecido, that I've actually heard of that before, so that's completely fine. Like, if you want to use that, go for it.
Okay.
And that goes for everybody else too. Like, if you know a word that you learned like somewhere else, like, use it. Like, I'm okay with that, because like I said, there's plenty of different things that could mean, the same thing here. And I might not know them all, but I do have like a website that I use that you can look it up and see like where the word is from. So that's completely fine. Like, anything, if you know a word that's different but it means the same thing, use it. I don't have a problem with that. So I added in a slide with new adjectives. So most of the adjectives here are words that you would use with ser, like they're more permanent things. Like bored, you would probably use that with a star, because being bored isn't, a permanent thing. But like all of these, other than that one, are kind of personality traits. So I would definitely use ser with most of these. Most of these on this slide are most of these are words that are more or less like emotions and physical states and things like that. So I would use a star with most of these, but I have practice on that and things like that. So feliz is happy. Contento or contenta is content or satisfied. I learned that it kind of means like happy, like same thing. Cansado or cansada is tired. Enfermo or enferma is sick. Ocupado or ocupada is busy. A trick that you can use to remember that is occupied. So it almost looks the same. So that pretty much means busy. Loco or loca is crazy, which I'm sure that all of you guys know that one. Sorprendido or sorprendida is surprised. Triste is sad. And then I have bored on here again. I don't know why, but I wasn't even thinking, but that's fine. So we know that one. Nervioso or nerviosa is nervous. That almost looks the exact same. De buen humor or de mal humor is in a good or a bad mood. Preocupada or preocupada is worried. Emocionado or emocionada is excited. Enojado or enojada is mad. Tranquilo or tranquila is calm. And that's actually something that they will say to you in like Latin America. Like, if you're upset about something, or you have to wait for something or something, they'll just be like tranquila, tranquila. And that just means like it's coming, or it'll be fine, or something like that. They say that a lot, like to everything. Enamorado or enamorada is in love. Avergonzado or avergonzada is ashamed. Sincero or sincera is sincere. Honesto or honesta is honest. Guapo is handsome. And mediano is medium. Okay, does anybody have any questions on these? So I went over this a little bit last week, but I thought that we'd just go through it again, and I will re-explain this if you would like me to. When we're using a gender specific noun, so that's one that ends in an O or an A, depending on what or who we're talking about. So an example of a gender specific adjective. Why did I put noun? I meant adjective. Sorry about that. So like a gender specific adjective would be one that has an O or an A. Like, you would say he is busy. Él está ocupado. Or she is busy. Ella está ocupada. So that's a gender specific adjective. When we are referring to a male person or a male gendered item, do we end the adjective in O or A?
Say it again.
When we're using like an adjective like that ends, like an example would be contento or contenta. there's an O or an A ending. When we're talking about a male person, like a man or a boy, or like a male like item, like a verb, like a word that has el, do we end the adjective in O or A when we're talking about a male person?
When we talk about a male, we always end it in O.
Yep, that's correct. And then when we're using the gender specific, why do I keep putting noun in? I don't know. And what we are referring to as a female person or a female item, do we end the adjective in an O or an A for females?
Females is an A.
Yep. And when we use any adjective, and we are talking about more than one person or thing, what do we add to the end of the adjective to show that we're talking about more than one person or thing?
Say it again. I can't hear you.
So if we're using like an adjective here, like contento or contenta, and we're talking about more than one person, we want to say like they are happy or they are content. What would we add to the end of the end of the adjective to show that we're talking about more than one person? We have to show that. What do you think? We add a letter to the end of the adjective to show that we're talking about more than one person. We add an S,
You
right?
can hear me? Yeah. I swear I ain't even know how to put myself on mute. I just said the same thing. I'm talking and I'm like, why don't she hear me?
Oh,
Then I
that's
look,
okay.
my microphone was on mute.
Oh, well, yeah, I do that all the time too in my own classes. So yeah, you would add an S. So if you wanted to say they are content, you would say ellos son contentos.
Yeah,
And
contentos.
yep.
Well, this with a group of people is an S.
Yep. Yeah, like even if you would say like
It's almost like in English when there's a multiple of things, you'd be like I got all these pies, I got all these cards.
yep. Yep.
It's
Yeah.
just it's similar to English.
Yep, it is similar to English, but yeah, so that's good. So I mean, even if you wanted to say like we are sick, you would say nosotros
Nosotros estamos
enfermos, right? Right, with the
Yeah,
S.
enfermos.
Yep, that's right. Okay, so I do have a little bit of practice here. I have 2 slides, but we're probably just gonna do one because we're running out of time, but that's okay. So if we wanted to say we are pessimistic, how would we say that?
Say it again.
If for the first one here, if we wanted to say we are pessimistic, how would we say that in Spanish?
Nosotros está. And what word was it?
Estamos,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, nosotros estamos. What's that word you say?
pesimista,
Pesimista.
pesimistas. Yep.
And what does that mean?
Pessimistic, like you know, like the difference between like being like optimistic, like and pessimistic.
I know optimistic.
Yeah, well, pessimistic is the opposite of optimistic. Like where you're
Oh,
yeah, like
okay.
where you're always like, I don't know how to word it, but like where you're always like kind of like, oh, like this isn't gonna work out for me. Like where you're not like you see the glass.
We always like down a little bit, like.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. And then pessimista. And then remember we have to add the S at the end because it's more than one person. And pessimistic and optimistic are two adjectives that they end in A no matter who you're talking about. Like
Okay.
there's no like optimisto or pessimisto. It's just always A at the end, and that's like an exception to the rule. So, and then for our next one, if we wanted to say my mother is short, how would we say that?
Mi mamá.
Yep. Oh. Yeah, you could say mi mamá or mi madre, same thing.
Es pequeña.
Yep, you could say pequeña. You could say pequeña, or you could say baja.
Yeah, baja.
Yep, either one is right. So for the next one, we have my dog is small. How would you say that?
Mi perros es baja, ¿verdad? You say baja or
You could,
pequeño?
I would say pequeño because short, pequeño more means small. Oh, and baja is short. So I
It's
would,
short, right?
yep,
Okay.
oh, that's what I would say. So for the next one, we have my dad is hardworking.
Y mi papá
Mhm.
is hardworking.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, got my laptop.
What was
Mi
that?
papás es
Mhm.
mi papás. I'm gonna say a hard worker. Dang,
It would be,
that's a good one. Mi
remember,
papá era trabajo. Damn, let me see. Mi papá trabaja. Uh, damn. Duro.
yeah, you could say that. Like you could say mi papá trabaja muy duro. That would be correct. But there's also the adjective is trabajador is hardworking. So you could use that one too. So because
Okay.
yeah, so you could say mi papá is trabajador, and that would be correct. So for the next one here, we have I am smart. How would you say that?
Yo soy inteligente.
Yep, that would be right. Okay, and this one's actually okay. So I do have another slide of practice here, but it's already 11:16, so I just want to go over the homework just to make sure that we have time.
So wait.
Yeah.
I still have to complete it and turn it in, right? The thing that's due May 20th.
Yeah, just write it down and just send it to me. That's fine.
Okay.
And then the homework is pretty simple. For the first section, it says match the English adjectives to the Spanish adjectives. So where it says like the first one says interesante. So you
It's
look,
interesting.
yep. So
All right.
yep. So that's all you have to do for that one. Just match.
Bueno
Mhm,
is good.
Yep. Yep. So you just,
Altos tall.
yep. So you just have to,
Pequeño, small.
match
Bonita,
them with the
cute.
correct ones.
Okay. That's pretty simple.
Yeah, it is. So I just wanted to get you like familiar with them. So and then it says complete the following sentences and it says read them out loud, but I'm not going to know if you do that. So it says when you were describing a female and your adjectives ends in O, you must change the O to an A. Remember we went over that. And it
Yeah.
says also when you're describing more than one person or animal, you must add an S to the adjective, which we went over that too. So, like an example for the first one is mi mamá es, and then you can just pick an adjective from the top. So if you want to say my mom is pretty, you could say mi mamá es bonita.
Bonita.
Yep, and then you would just write my mom is pretty. And then the second one is my brother is. The third one is my dog is. And the last one is my grandparents are. So you can just pick an adjective from the top and just make sure that the adjective is right. Does it end in O? Does it end in A? And does it have, is it plural? Like for the last one, for mis abuelos son, you would add an S to the end because you're talking about more than one person. Okay? And that's all you have to do. Does anybody have any questions or anything on this?
Nah.
You're okay with this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that the assignment's pretty simple. So I just wanted to get you like acquainted and everything with the adjectives.
So I'm about to knock out that thing. I gotta send you real quick so you can grade it.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I have a class right after this one, but I'll grade it around like 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Or if anything, I can just like do all three during lab time. So
Yeah,
that way I can try to do homework.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Anything you want to do works for me. And then just for our plans for next class, like I said, there's lab today from 1 to 2. We'll review our adjectives, what we went over today. We'll review the sentence subjects again. We'll review the Sarah and a star, which we went over today, and their conjugations. We'll review the homework. Well, we only did like one quiz so far, so I think I'm gonna make another one. Don't worry, it won't be hard or long or anything. But just so we like get some grades in, I think I'm gonna make a quiz that has to do with like probably like the prepositions we've been going over and maybe a little bit of the adjectives. I don't know, I'll see. But you'll have like a week or even more to do that. So, and we'll review for it. So it's fine. Like, so feel free, if you have any questions or anything, to email me or come to lab today from 1 to 2. Any of that is okay. And then I'll stop the share.